Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2. And today I'm going to be giving you part 7 of What If Naruto was recreated by the Shinigami. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto was a genius experimenter. And enjoy that guys. And remember, for new, yes, I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King 2, and Anime King 3, which I post What If on every single day. Yes, you heard that correctly, every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead, click that red subscribe button, and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be planning talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say we leap on into this new episode? Begin the intro. So the last part we left off, as Naruto was treating his students, as they were eating, rather happily. However, he kinda forgot his insatiable taste of ramen, and he realized where he get it from in his past life, as Kushina was on her 60th bowl. However, Naruto was intercepted when Sakamoto arrived. Because of what happened, Sakamoto did not have to go to the mission, and end up killing himself because he failed. And thus he survived, as Sakamoto was rather straightforward with Naruto about his intentions revolving Kushina, as he's heard rumors about him and the other females in the village, and he warned him if he hurt her well, he wasn't going to like it, as the man put down some money to pay for Kushina. He seemed to truly care for her a lot, as a younger Toki had told Naruto that as he stood there with Naruto. Yes, he truly cared for her, and he didn't want any harm coming her way. That is why he was so forceful. However, Kushina was beat red at him lecturing Naruto like that, as the man could be rather scary when he wanted to be. Yes, Sakamoto Hatake was a rather dangerous man. It was then that Naruto noticed 2 people coming down. It was Hayashi and another Hyuga, which he later found out was the mother of Hinata. As Naruto decided to walk her back, seeing that her arms were a bit bruised, he was able to use his chakra to circulate through her wounds and fix them, as she said that it was just sparring. However, this didn't look like sparring, as Kushina told him about the situation as she was too soft regarding their clan traditions, and the Hyugas didn't like that, as Hayashi was in line to take over if she did not meet the proper ranks. As Naruto spoke to her, unknowingly though, he got her to actually start to like him as he spoke to her, as Naruto was once again changing the events of the future, as he also met Yoshino and Shikaku as well. So with that, after some time, him and his team made their way towards Land of Rain. Arriving towards said location, it didn't take long, as Naruto had warned them not to go anywhere near Hanzo if they came across a man. So with that they moved. However, something was horribly wrong, as they got attacked by a group. As Naruto told them to run immediately, he then proceeded to take on the army like a complete pro as he whipped through them, annihilating everyone in his path. None of them stood a chance against him. They were not at his level. They were nowhere even close. However, Kushina found herself in a sticky situation, as Naoki and Ibiki got beaten down rather quickly as they were both bleeding rather badly. And then she found herself losing her control to the fox, as she had to give in, otherwise she would die. So she released her control to the fox, as she proceeded to fight off against Hanzo. However, he was able to seal that power away, as she collapsed, unable to do anything anymore. However, before she passed out, he arrived. It was none other than Naruto as she heard him before she collapsed. Naruto was pissed off, as Hanzo said that someone paid him a great deal to kill Kushina, as Naruto was furious, considering that Fukaku was greeted by someone in the darkness that promised him power to kill Naruto. Well, and now that the man had his Mangekyo awakened, someone was in the background, someone that really disliked Naruto a lot, that was making sure that his life fall apart. However, the situation changed when Naruto fought Hanzo, as Naruto was so pissed as he started to attack the man. Hanzo the Salamander was known for being extremely powerful, as he was able to take on the Saiyans when they were younger. He was the one that gave them their names. However, Naruto proved that to be nothing to him, as Naruto started to decimate the man. He put the fear of coming to Hanzo. Hanzo was shocked when he was being battered down. It was then that he glanced up and saw Naruto's eyes. Eyes that shocked him. Almost every S-rank ninjas knew about legendary eyes. But Hanzo couldn't believe it as he looked up towards his Uchiha that possessed none other than the famous Rinnegan. Now that shook him to his very core as Naruto Rinnegan spiraled in his eye sockets, rage overtaking him as he lost himself. Even Yami could not stop Naruto. Also, there was something concerning there because Yami was hearing voices, and Naruto was not the one talking, neither was it Yami. That meant something else was inside of Naruto's head, something else that was talking. That was a bit concerning, yes. But guys, that was the last part we left off. You guys can switch across the playthrough to yourself, and yeah. Without further ado, what do you say we leap into this new episode, guys? Let's begin now, guys. Hanzo was shocked, petrified, mortified. Those eyes of a god. Almighty. Push! The earth and Hanzo became intimate as he was plunged into the earth. However, the almighty push blew him back, his back tearing against the soil as he yelled and cried out in pain. However, his face was grabbed as Naruto gripped his hair and slammed his knee right into the man's face. Hanzo's mind was left whirling. All around him was just a rain-soaked blur, one he could no longer make sense of. What is happening? As Naruto was there to greet him once again, his boot hitting Hanzo's chest. The effect was enough to put an atom bomb to shame as the ground literally exploded outwards from the force. A single stomp was able to create a crater that was so massive, it was so deep it would take ninjas a while to reach down to the epicenter. As Naruto slammed his feet right into Hanzo's chest once again, blood spurted from the man's nose and mouth. As he was unable to move, no words were spoken, no final taunts. He simply held Hanzo down 1 foot, as a lot of his ribs had been broken, as Hanzo could not even move. Susanoo, as that ghoulish skeleton flickered around Naruto once more. It was larger now, larger than anything that he's ever seen. The master in a jewel in the forehead of Susanoo, and it was still rising, and rising, and rising, and rising. Hanzo opened his mouth to plead for his life. It was too late though. He realized that there would be no mercy. The black Susanoo pierced in the clouds themselves as it went higher and higher. It was greater than a bijou, larger than a mountain. It pulled its blade and Hanzo knew that it was done. Oddly enough, he didn't feel fear. It had been a good life, all things considered. His employer would be rather furious that Konoha Black Death just grew from this encounter. It was a good fight. Hanzo closed his eyes, his last thoughts being the Black Death as the blade came down. And there was no more. Tired. He was so goddammit tired. Naruto had never been more exhausted in his life. Awakening the Rinnegan was one thing, but calling on the perfect Susanoo, his body was taxed with very limits. Lucky enough, he had created 3 shadow clones to carry his students away to safety, to check over them, tend their injuries to make sure that they would survive. Never again, he vowed. Never again would he allow them to face such danger alone. They would learn from this experience to live to see another day, another sunrise. Hanzo would not. His body was crushed, but his features are still there, his head showing his lifeless eyes. Naruto plucked the salamander scroll away, which had survived the encounter. He needed proof of the man's death. As he pulled his blade and sliced the man's head clean off. As he stored it away. You killed him. He didn't turn. He had sensed them. while he was feeling bloodlusted. With this close, it was hard to not recognize their chakra, yet his heart still skipped a beat. As they drew nearer to him, it was them. He was so focused on killing Hanzo that he never even thought what his massive Susanoo would do, the attention that it would draw. Yes, I killed him. What of it, he said. Nothing, the girl said. In fear. It was just, that thing was huge. It was, said Naruto as he looked up at the break that he made in the clouds, as it was no longer raining because Naruto's Susanoo had break away the clouds. The sky was blue, the sun poking through. Beautiful, huh? Said Naruto, with a small chuckle. You say that like you mean it, a voice said, with a challenging tone. I do. So, are those your students? Naruto's gaze shifted towards Kushina, Ibiki, and Nawaki. Yes, they will be just fine. They're strong. For a long moment nothing was said. Finally, the girl spoke. Who are you, mister? She said. The name is Naruto Uchiha. He felt like he was 1,000 years old as he turned, his eyes lying on Nagato, Yaiko, and Konan. They were just as he imagined they would be. Those are some mighty fine eyes you got there, kid. Just like mine. Nagato looked up for a moment as he looked back at those eyes before he cowered down. But they had nothing to fear from him. As Naruto couldn't help it, he laughed. They were here. The strength left his legs as he crouched down. You kids have names, he asked, despite already knowing them, as they told him their names. No parents, huh? Even hearing their tale for a second time, he felt sorry for them. If it makes you feel any better, I never knew my folks either. But you know ninjutsu, Yaiko said. Yep, because I worked my ass off to learn it. Believe that. Can you teach us? Oh, now, that's a bit of a tall order there. Why do you want to learn ninjutsu? I wanted to make this land stop crying. Well, that's already been done, said Naruto. Then, because I don't want to lose anyone else. Good answer, kid. As the three orphans didn't know what to say. You guys hungry, he said as he dug his hand into his pouch. He had brought the ration for this. I separate for them. I got these. Whoa, they were snatched out of his hands by Yaiko and Konan. Nagato reluctantly taking the food. I'll take that as a yes. Why are your eyes like Nagato's? Konan asked as she ate. They're the same, but you're not a Uzumaki, are you? Nope, but she is, said Naruto as he pointed towards Kushina. Maybe she's your long-lost cousin or something. Nagato jerked like he was hit by a lightning bolt. This young woman was related to him by blood. He flushed at the thought. Konan was not so easily satisfied though. You didn't answer my question. Well, he and I are the same in a way. These eyes of mine help me protect those precious to me. Isn't that right, Nagato? You have someone you want to protect, don't you? The boy nodded quietly, his eyes looking towards his friends once more. It really warmed the heart to see that. So, are you going to teach us or not? Yaiko was rather persistent. Now, all in good time, said Naruto as they finished off the rations. I plan on heading back once these three recovered, and find my allies. All of their face fell at that. Hey, I wasn't finished, he said. So kids, as he extended his hand, how would you like to become shinobis? The words were barely out of his mouth as they shouted yes. However, with the other group, Snevy had never felt such pain in her life. As her body was beaten, their mission had failed. They had not even driven Hanzo off. Instead of killing them though, he had bestowed upon them the title of Sanin, and saying that the battle would most likely end in Konoha's favor. And he had let them live. Beaten and broken as Jiraiya were, she was barely able to drag them into the shelter of this cave. Nursing their wounds had driven her past the point of exhaustion. It was only because of the soldier pills, and her own will keeping her up. Perhaps it was because of her DNA. Honestly, it was time like this that she wished she could use the Mokidon. She had trained and read several books on the Keiki Genkai, but something just seemed to be blocking her. At this rate, Nawaki would learn how to unlock it before her. The thought of him wielding the Mokidon on battlefield, it almost brought a smile to her face. He's been a genin for nearly 2 years. Rumor has it that he was getting a new sensei to replace the one that he lost in the war. Perhaps she might meet the man when she returned to the village, but none of that would matter if she didn't. She was cut off. Tap. What's that sound? Tap. Tap, tap, tap. Something was tapping. As she turned to see someone coming. A person making their way towards them, with 6 others behind him. An enemy attack? Had Hanzo decided to finish them off after all? She braced herself for the worst. If the salamander meant to end them while they were weak at night, he would be in for one hell of a shock. However, the face that had been in her dreams for the past few nights was the one that she saw. As he pushes her back. Naruto? Well, you guys look like shit. As a teary grin was on his face. Don't worry, I'm here to bail your asses out. Feel free to thank me later, you know. If she hadn't been so relieved to see him, she would have clobbered him for that remark. As things stood, she never been happy to hear his voice. Wait a second. How did she know that it was really him and not some assassins? Hinting to him to make her drop her guard. Not another step, she said. If you are who you say you are, prove it right now. Are you really gonna make me go there? Said Naruto. However, she would not back down. Fine, in the land of Win. I told you never to risk yourself on my behalf and alright, she said. You're the real deal. And I told you never to speak that in front of anyone. She heard a snicker from Jiraiya. Yes, they fought Hanzo. One of the 6 said, they're downright paranoid. Bomb. She was bumped over the head. What the hell was that for, Sensei? For not showing the proper appreciation. These 3 have been through hell and back. Show them some respect. But if you don't, no ramen for you. That's just mean, it's cruel. An unusual punishment. As Natty caught a flash of crimson, there was only one Kunoichi that she knew that had such crimson hair. Kushina. There were some other kids there. Perhaps they were orphans. The oldest looked to be none other than 12 years old. Looks like you were right, Konan-chan. They were here after all. I guess I can't forgive them for being a little crazy though, considering. Thank you, Sensei. Snatty raised the eyebrow. Sensei? Just what the hell is going on here? As Naruto started to give out orders, Snatty watched as the mouth of the cave was sealed up. Wait, was that a wood release? To set up light torches and a third to get the fire going, as the orphans trail after him, like lost ducklings without their mother. A small chuckle. It seems that the cavalry has arrived. Orochimaru, as he propped himself up against a wall, he arched an eyebrow at Aiko and the others. You just can't help yourself without picking up strays, now can you? He mused, but there was no anger or anything in his tone. It was Naruto's affections on people. He seemed to bring out the good in people, even someone like Orochimaru. As Orochimaru stopped thinking that much about jutsus, and he started to spend more time just, well, being a bit social. And that was rather strange. Good to see you too, Scaly, as Naruto clapped him on the shoulder. Guess you got pretty beat up, huh? Why am I not surprised, said Jiraiya as he was on the ground, unable to move. Did Sarutobi send you? He thought you needed some help, said Naruto. For once he's right, even with your help. It will take everything we have to bring down that old salamander. Yeah, about that, said Naruto. As Naruto pulled out a storage scroll, the group watched him as they saw him unseal something. It was the head of... Snatty eyes widened. How? She couldn't understand. Well, that's a long story, he said. It was awesome, said Yaiko, as he shouted, his features bright with pride. Sensei totally pasted him with that jutsu, and his eyes were just like... Naruto clamped a hand over his mouth, preventing him from saying things that should not be said. A boost in reputation was good, but he didn't want anyone other than the Rain orphans to know that he possessed the Rinnegan. He would have to answer some questions that he couldn't answer. As Naruto laughed, kids these days, as he released him. Quite the chatterboxes. Let's just say I got the drop on that old salamander when he was not expecting it, and leave it at that. It wasn't easy, but as you can see, I managed somehow. Took down a couple hundred of his goons as well. That still doesn't explain the kids. You were in a daycare or something, said Jiraiya. Oh yeah, almost forgot. Nagato, Yaiko Konan, I would like you to meet Erasenin. He's a bit of a pervert, but he's a good guy, like me. And this is Snatty. Don't let her pretty face fool ya. Piss her off and she will break every bone in your body, and heal you and break it over again. That fellow over there is Orochimaru. He may be rude, but he means well. Now you met the legendary Sannin of Konoha. Congratulations. I like yours better. Huh? Why? As Yaiko piped up, it's scary. I mean the Black Death, with a name like that. It sounds like a plague to your enemies. Not someone to mess with, Sensei, said Konan. Well, when you put it that way. So sorry that we can't each have our own nickname, said Snetty, but he didn't answer the question. Why are they here? Oh, they're coming back with us, he said, like it was the most obvious thing in the world. I decided to take them under my wing. What? You can't just decide that on your own. Can't I? Said Naruto. I don't remember asking for a vote, but if it comes down to that, all in favor of these brats becoming shinobis, raise your hand and say yes. As Naruto's hand came up, yes. Nagato's hand came up, yes. As Naruto reached down and ruffled his hair, yes, he was a Konoha shinobi, and Konoha shinobi had killed Nagato's parents. But he had squashed Hanzo like he was a mere ant. As these rites should make Nagato fear Naruto. But there was a gentleness, as his hand roamed through his red hair. A calmness in those eyes that showed that he did not mean any ill intention towards any of them. And those eyes, they were like his own, running on his side, eyes brimming with power and pain. You only need to look in his eyes to know that once he was powerless, and he scraped and clawed to become what he was now. Surely a warrior of such caliber would not take interest in them, unless he truly cared. Yes, said Konan. It wasn't even a question because Yard knew that she wanted to see the back of this land. With Hanzo dead, perhaps things would change. Naruto sensei had been kind to them when he didn't have to be, fed them when he could have easily ended them. It would have been so easy for him to dismiss Yaiko command, to train the three of them when he already had his 3 students. But instead he took them under his wing, promising them a home in Konoha. And that alone, it was very easy for her to make her choice. Yes, Yaiko said. As this man embodied everything you want to become, powerful yet kind. Wise but not consumed with the ways of the world, possessing strength that would make his foes quiver in their boots by a single glance. It was slightly sobering to know that they would be leaving the land of rain behind them, but just as Konan wished for the land to change with Hanzo's demise, the boy believed that Naruto, the one he truly respected, had plans for their land. He spoke to them about peace, his vision of peace in passing. A world where everyone truly understands one another. Yaiko did not know how Naruto planned to achieve such a peace, but with that kind of power, the power to make the earth tremble beneath your feet, surely he could have it. Really, there was no one better to learn from. Well now, said Naruto, I believe that make 4 vote in your favor. Any opposed, he asked. I would like to add my vote to Sensei's as well. Ibiki called from across the room. Konoha stands for light and justice. What does that make us then if we just leave? Merely because it's just an inconvenience. These children are not much younger than Kushin and I. We can't just leave them. They're coming, as the others agreed. So that makes it 7 against what again? Said Naruto. The Sanin blanched at that. This man had just taken down a legendary shinobi, and he hadn't even break a sweat. As it was not their place to argue over something so minor as the number of students you want to train. Alright, that's enough kiddies, said Kushina. Stop hugging him and come help me with the fire. As the 3 of them made their way towards her. Well, shit, kids are nuts. They're gonna be singing praises. Our praises. For you especially, off in Hanzo. Don't remind me, said Naruto, as if he wasn't already famous enough. As he thought about the acolytes he was gonna receive after what happened. Alright, now let me see your injuries. As his eyes switched into the Sharingan as he searched for any injuries inflicted by the old salamander. He needed to make sure no one died because of chakra exhaustion or poison. Jiraiya got a clean bit of health immediately. He'd taken a bad fall, however, with some rest, he'll be back to fight by the end of the day. Orochimaru's injuries were no laughing matter though. Fractured ribs, swollen ankle, shattered tibia, dislocated shoulders, those were the major ones. And there was many other ones that he left himself in. Who left himself in this kind of shape? Apparently this guy, said Yami. As Naruto was becoming disconcerted with Yami, he had been quiet lately. One would have made him think that he would be happy to not hear him for a while, however. He remembered in Konoha while he was talking to Yoshino and Shikaku, there was another voice. Who had spoken to him back then? It did not feel like Kurama. Or was there still some trace of the fox personality inside of him? Or was it something more sinister? Could it be that he wasn't alone in his body? Had the Shinigami made some mistake? Was the consciousness of that man somewhere inside of himself? Hey, don't you think that? The last thing we need is that guy in our head. Past, present, or future. Noted, said Naruto. As Orochimaru looked at Naruto, this isn't going to be pleasant, is it? Quit your whining, Scaly. Let me fix your injury. I'll be done in a jiffy. The Sanin was being quiet at first as Naruto worked on the major injuries. However, when he popped his shoulder back in, there was a hiss. Curses that hurt, Orochimaru said. Good, said Naruto as he poked his shoulder. Orochimaru gave him a glare. You felt that, I take it. Wouldn't want the nerves to atrophy. For a moment he thought Orochimaru would bite his head off for that remark. He killed subordinates for lesser than that in the future. But the Sanin merely frowned. You are an anomaly. As Orochimaru said that, Naruto looked towards him. He had not started to switch bodies yet. There was no hiding. Regeneration here. Huh? Said Naruto to his question. Uchiha really showed concern to those within his clan, and not to mention those outside of it. That you continue to do so to both confused me. Why wouldn't I? Said Naruto. I mean, we're teammates. You guys are the closest thing I have to a family. Well, two of them were, but he was not going to say that. He didn't want to throw Orochimaru to the winds when there was a chance of saving him. But the power of words were truly effective. As Orochimaru's eyes widened for a brief second. Something wrong, said Naruto. No, but I appreciate the sentiment, for whatever it is worth. He stood and rolled his shoulders. Your treatment was precise, he said. Had you wanted to, you could have easily maimed me instead of healing me. Thank you for doing the latter, he said. As Naruto raised the eyebrow, he was kidding, right? As he wasn't even realized that he could damage Orochimaru's chakra right there and then, destroy his corals, and he would never use chakra again. However, it's a good thing that he did not focus on that, because the Sanin was changing. Hopefully he wasn't doing anything against Konoha yet. If the man turned his attention towards the leaf enemies, that could be tolerated so long as he did not harm the villagers. What the hell? Since when did I start to think of Konoha as a pinnacle of society? More important, when did I start to value her over the other villages? As Naruto focused on the last person there. Alright girlie, your turn. Tsunade was still shocked, as she remembered seeing Hanzo's head, that Naruto was able to do what the three of them could not do together. And now he was the one gonna patch her up. Where did you learn medical ninjutsu? She's seen him work on Orochimaru. His level of skill was quite high for someone who claimed not to be well versed. You tend to pick up a lot of things when you're alone for as long as I have. Damn it, he frowned, as he brought his hand to rest on her collarbone. You really did get banged up out there. If I hadn't come along, some of these fractures would have taken weeks to reset. This is exactly why we need more medics. The words were spoken casually, however. They caused her eyes to widen a bit. She was thinking of suggesting the same thing to Sarutobi Sensei once he returned from this godforsaken land. For all the shinobi experience they had, Konoha had very few medical ninjas. If the war continued, their loss of life would be staggering. For someone to actually agree with her, let alone Naruto. You really think that? Of course, said Naruto. More doctors mean less loss of life. It's elementary. Speaking of, you got a bad break here in your wrist. I'm gonna have to re-break it and set it, unless you want the bone to grow wrong. No, don't. He wasn't listening. It's alright, I know how to mend the bone. This was gonna hurt, and Tsunade knew that it took an extraordinary amount of chakra to mend fractures, let alone regenerate broken bones. She was one of the few that can do it, and she doubted that he could do that. That he had the confidence to break her bone. It terrified her. Naruto, don't you dare pop! She screamed out in frustration, as Naruto cradled the back of her head and forced it into his shoulder, causing her scream to die down, as she jerked away with a sputter. You big baby, it's just a broken bone. I'm gonna kill you, she said. Not after this you won't. As his hand started to glow so bright that it became almost white. Tiny sparks of chakra flooded her system, accelerating the bone growth at 10 times the rate, as they rolled together rather quickly. Tsunade blinked in shock. This came close to raveling her young seal. Perhaps it might. Her respect for him rose another notch. Yes, a joker he might be, but his medical skills and his empathy were unmatched. And the way he was still holding her hand. No, bad Tsunade. You release his hand now. It doesn't matter if you know medical ninjutsu or agree with your philosophy, or that he came in here to save the day like a knight in shining armor, or that he's holding your hand and looking at you like that in the dark. Oh dear Kami, she thought to herself. But she still could not release him. You're full of surprises, she said. His hands are rough, callous, from the numerous battles he must have been in. What kind of life did he live out there behind the village walls? Thank you. I try. So, still mad, he asks. Not really. No, she said. Damn it, what was happening to her? She felt like a flustered academy schoolgirl. Her gaze turned towards Rain or Tomorrow, but the former was out cold, and the latter just wanted to watch her squirm. Bastard. As cute as you are when you're mad, I'd rather see you smile, so that is good, he said. Stop speaking, you fool. Are you trying to make me... Yep, sometime we're all talent chump experience. Ain't that right, Nawaki, he said. Snatty froze. Nawaki? As he was a figure at the end of the torchlight. Hey sis. As she looked towards the end of the cavern. Mokitan. It was wood. Her last remaining family left Nawaki. That meant Naruto was the one teaching Nawaki. And he brought him here. Here of all places. Oh shit, said Naruto to himself. He could have dodged, however. He decided to take it like a man. Bam! As he was slammed into the cavern wall. As she had hit him right in the face. Sensei! Please don't tell me you didn't just kill him. Oh shit. Sis, what did you do? I wasn't thinking, alright? Sorry. More importantly, when the hell did you learn how to do that? Oh yeah. His sister never saw him use Mokutan before. Hey, guys? They turned their head. As Naruto waved from across the cave. Turns out that Tsunade only struck a well-placed mud clone. So, are you gonna try to hit me again? Or are we gonna call it a night? We got a lot of ground to cover first thing tomorrow morning. As Tsunade threw a stone as he skittered away. Your worrying is touching. You do care, he said. Time skip. 6 hours later. Blue eyes slowly opened as a weight came on his sleeping bag, stirring him from a wonderful dream. Madara was sealed away. Tobi had been butchered and the world knew peace. Sakura was alive and well, better than ever, and pregnant with his child. He was Hokage. Everything was alright in the world, but it was just a dream, as something was now on his chest. However, after so much years, White Zetsu's trying to kill him in his own sleep. As Naruto had always kept a kunai ready as he moved, Mangito Sharingan flaring to life. Move and I slit you open. A tiny feminine gasp greeted his words, as Naruto realized who it was. Kushina, he said, as he lowered his weapon. What are you... Her hand slipped over his mouth, ushering him into silence. Shh. You will await the others. I mean, I put silence and seal on two of us, but still. Indeed, Naruto sensed nothing but peaceful chakra surrounding them. They were all asleep. Everyone but the most troublesome woman in the world. As his Sharingan told him that this was indeed Kushina. Who the hell's on watch? Me, she said. Then why are you... Shadow Clone? Give me some credit, Sensei, she said. I never thought you that once, said Naruto. That's right. You didn't. I learned it before you came back, actually. When did you... I may or may not have borrowed something a few years ago. But I put it back when I was done, she said. I swear. As Naruto realized what she took, she stole the forbidden scroll of sealing. Just like him. That was how she had learned it. Had they been anywhere else, he would have been roaring with laughter right now. As he shook his head in disbelief, as he had did the same thing a few decades later. Well, that explained how she was able to worm her way out of watch duty. However, that didn't explain why she was still sitting in his lap. Was there something that you wanted, he asked. It happened fast as their lips locked together as she leaned in. As he couldn't help himself, his arms wrapped around her thighs. As she broke apart, Sensei, I want you, she said. Holy shit. A question popped in his mind though. Why, he said. I don't know, she said, a bit flustered. I just do. Ever since we met, you got me all torn up inside. And I can feel butterflies in my stomach. I think of you in the morning when I get up, and you're there in my dreams when I go to sleep. Don't act like you don't care because I saw what you did. To Hanzo, you butchered him. Because he tried to kill me, and I can't get you out of my head because of that. So take some responsibility for your actions. As Naruto stared at her for a long moment, after that outburst. Shinigami, why do you curse me so? Sometime I'm sure that you're doing it deliberately. But then you look at me like that. Like, said Kushina. Like I'm taking advantage of you. I would never let anyone take advantage of me, she said as she leaned in. I just want you, she said. There's nothing wrong with that. Naruto almost scarfed. There was 1,000 things wrong with this scenario that she did not know. A million reasons. As he still remembered, Naruto Uzumaki. Yes, he might be Naruto Uchiha now, different DNA, different person, but he could still remember Naruto Uzumaki. However, since he came back, he didn't see her as his mother. It was just different. Look, you think I care if this is my first time? No, that not the win out of him. As she leaned back in and their lips met. As he handled her like she was the finest piece of china, that a single touch would accidentally break her. I hope you're happy, he said, lips touching hers in mid-speak. Troublesome woman. Very, she said to him. Hey, what are you doing? I'm not doing this with you in some cave, said Naruto. If we're gonna do this, then we're gonna be proper about it. I'm gonna take you out. We're gonna get to know each other better. And then we will see where this takes us. Until then, sex is off the table. Desire and temptation welled up inside of her. And there was also jealousy. Why was he being so damn careful with her? But you and Mikato were very, very reckless, said Naruto. I care about her and the others, just as I care about you. But if I just go and knock up my student, word's gonna get out, you know? I know you wouldn't care, but it as you said. The village can be rather cruel. As he pulled her close. I don't want any of this blowback date to you. Unless you just wanted casual sex, he said. No, she said. As she didn't want some one-night stand. That was the last thing she wanted. I don't want that. As she nuzzled closer to him. As he reached down towards her back, stroking her hair down. She purred like a kitten as he nibbed her on the neck. Good girl, he said. Her face turned red, several different shades of red in a couple of seconds. Out of all the things he could say, he really had to say that. It was bad enough what his normal words do. And now he gonna say that. As she tried to look away. As she realized something. Why are your eyes still closed? I've been having a bit of a problem since I killed Hanzo. Damn things keep on activating on their own. Wait, you're not going blind, are you? She said. Not at all. My vision has never been clearer. However, the way they are right now, they might frighten you. No, they won't. As he slipped away. Come on, she said, show me. You might regret that. I regret nothing. Now show me, she said. Alright, said Naruto. Her eyes went wide when she saw him open his eyes. The lores, passed on through decades and generations. Mito had spoken to her once in passing, prophesizing saying that she would meet and fall for a young man with powerful eyes. However, that was before Naruto had wrecked the timeline. As the poor girl did not know that what Mito meant by strong eyes was someone with a strong will. Not strong eyes in a literal sense, however. She took that to heart. The Rinnegan. Are those... They are, he said. They're pretty. Pretty? Said Naruto. Whoa. This is one of the legendary dojutsu here. It's deadly and dangerous, not pretty. As she laughed, but it was too late. He would never forget the Rinnegan being called pretty. Never again. Off with you, he said as he showed her off his lap with a gentle nudge. As she pouted. You need to get back and watch, and I need to get some rest, and replenish my chakra. But one must not always rely on shadow clones, he said. This will be a good experience for you. Now, shoot, he said. Alright, she said. As she gave him a kiss on cheek before she returned back to her watch. However, he would not allow her to get the last kiss in as he pulled her back right into his arms. And he assaulted her lips. As his arms roamed around her, making her feel all tingly. Her senses got overtaken until he stepped away. What? Never tease your master, he said. Now back and watch, he said, as he swatted her right in the butt. As she yelped a bit, despite that her cheeks turned red. Sensei, hey, can I call you Naruto from now on, she said. His eyes grew dark at that. Not in a evil way. The way he looked at her, like he just wanted to take her in his arms right there and then. It made her shiver. You can call me whatever you want, Kushina-chan. Another shiver once again. Good night then, Naruto-kan, she said, as she made her way off. The next morning. Why do I feel so goddamn dirty, said Naruto, as he rubbed at his eyes. The light threatening to blind him. Wait, light? This was a land of rain. As he realized Kushina had snuck back inside with him. After her shift was done, Hey, you there, said Naruto. God, what time is it, said Yami. Early. Now shut up and tell me if I'm under some genjutsu or something. Huh? You're not under a damn illusion. Now let me sleep. You don't sleep, said Naruto. I do so. Now screw off, and good night. Now wait just a goddamn minute. I said good night, sir. As Yami returned back to sleeping. The land of rain, truly the land could not be called that. After the events that transpired yesterday, since the death of Hanzo, the steady downpour that drained their land had become just a minor thing now. Because now there was sunny. As the light poured down on everything. I can hear them now. Uchiha and Naruto, the man that made the heavens stop raining. The girls are going to be swarming you when you get back home. As Naruto turned to see Jiraiya awake. Now when they find out that you're writing a perversive novel based on peeping, he retorted. The older man flinched like he was struck. You're a sadistic bastard, you know that? Huh, sadistic. That word brought back a lot to Naruto's memory. He had sacrificed platoons to hold off the Jubi. He had been ruthless back then because he knew ruthless things had to be done to make sure that they survived this war. However, he didn't know where he actually snapped. As he come to think about it now, he might knew where. It wasn't when Ino was drawn in their own blood. It wasn't when Shikamaru got decapitated or Kiba became a reanimated corpse. There was so much that he had to turn to a more darker path. But looking back now, what truly broke him was the death of Hinata, not Sakura. He was driven past the breaking point when Sakura died. However, when Hinata chose to take her own life rather than live with the pain, some things have him snap. As in the final end, he decided to use the Shikifujin. It was a final screw you to Madara, just to mess with their plans. Hey kid, as Naruto turned his gaze, as Jiraiya saw him just dive into some rather strange thoughts right there, judging by his eyes. As Naruto switched gear, so how goes it? Not as good as I would like. It's hard to find inspiration with a war going on, you know? Yeah, that tend to put a damper on things, said Naruto. Yeah. Well, aside from that, how's it going on your end? I beg your pardon? Looking after those runs of yours, what else? Honestly, said Naruto as he looked back, I have no idea what the hell Sarutobi was thinking. Sometimes I feel I can barely take care of myself, let alone 3 teenagers. Really, I spent half of the trip here worrying if I'll be able to protect them or not. And I nearly botched it. Hanzo was waiting for us, and he tried to take them out while I was distracted. If I had been a single second slower, but you weren't, said Jiraiya, but if I was, they would have been dead. They've grown on me, you know? I barely have them with me for more than a few days here, and even now I can't bear the thought of losing them. But what makes a good sensei? The least I did was to make sure that they can work together before I had drawn them out into a war zone. What kind of teacher does that make me? That's it, right there. Huh? Said Naruto. The mark of a good sensei, said Jiraiya. I worry about Minato all the time since he became Chunin, but I trust that he can fend for himself. At any rate, you worry about your kids, that's fine. But you gotta trust them to handle themselves on their own. What I need to do is to train them some more and make sure they don't face S-class shinobis. Well, Minato is a prodigy, so you probably shouldn't, just to be safe. As Naruto wondered what would his father be like now, without Kushina. He barely said 2 words to him since rescuing Kushina, as he didn't know about his actions if they would change Minato's destiny to become Hokage. The last thing he wanted to do was to cheat the man out of becoming the leader of the village. After all, Naruto could not change the future if he was tied onto a dex, so he couldn't become Hokage. The bloody irony, the one thing that he wanted more than anything else, but now he could not take the title. Still, it's nice, isn't it? We are so used to operating in the dark that we barely get to see a sunrise like this. Now that's something we can agree on. Wait, that wasn't Jiraiya's voice. As hands clamped down on their shoulders. Snazzy, relax you idiot. I'm not angry at you anymore. Actually, as she squeezed Naruto's shoulder a bit, I wanted to thank you. Thank me, said Naruto. Why, whatever for, he asked. I don't recall doing anything worthy of gratitude, he said. Neither do I, said Jiraiya, as her cheeks became a light blush. He was gonna make her say plain and fully. Fine, I'll be plain about it, she said. Thank you for keeping my brother safe, Naruto. This is good stuff right here, said Jiraiya. Prime research. Bam! She punched him right in the face. Was that really necessary? I mean, he probably deserved it and all, but... Maybe you're right, she said. She sat down beside him. As Naruto's eyes widened, Tsunade agreeing with him. Was the world coming to an end? Was the apocalypse gonna start now? Well, if you really feel that bad about hitting the old perf. Not about that, she said. Then what? About you? Naruto blinked. Alright, I give up. I'm at a loss, he said. I did some thinking last night. About what you said. I've been thinking about this for a while now, actually. I owe you a lot, actually. When I thought that you were just a cocky little shit. You proved me wrong in so many ways. You told me not to risk myself. You helped negotiate a truce with the Sand. You took my brother under your wing and you kept him safe. Killed a shinobi that the three of us couldn't even hope to touch. And instead of gloating about that, you were humbled. Any other Uchiha would have rubbed their accomplishment in our face and thumped their nose at us and be done with it. But you did not. You stay and treat your wounds, my wounds. Despite the fact that we barely know one another. There's something different about you, I think. And it's not just your genes. Shit, Naruto thought. Alright, just play it off as comradeship. Any Konoha shinobi would have... Don't give me that crap, she said. In case you haven't noticed, the three of us are not well liked. We might be after this, but that besides the point. I've studied the healing arts my entire life. And I've never met someone as skilled as you. Who taught you? How could he tell her that she was the one that taught him? Yes, Uzumaki Naruto might have sucked at it, but with mother knowledge and body and chakra control, he was a knack at doing it. Now she was asking him how he got that good. I rather not say. There you go again, being all secretive. As Naruto frowned, refusing to budge. If your past was painful, would you talk about it? Said Naruto. No, it was her turn to cringe, thinking about how she suffered, living under the shadow of her grandfather. Everyone had loved him, adored him. But once it became known that her and her brother would not be awakening, that bloodline ended soon. They dropped him like a hot potato. And sometimes they got looks like they weren't enough. They weren't living up to their full potential. I guess not, she said. Thanks, said Naruto. If we're done here, I should probably wait the others. She grabbed his wrist. That's well and good, but last night, you've proven to me that there's actually a brain under that thick skull of yours. Advocating for the uses of more medical shinobis instead of more meatheads. You stand up for what you believe in. And I like that, she said. Funny that you almost broke my arm over it. Would it help if I apologize for that as well, she said. You know, actually yes. Then I'm sorry, she said. As Naruto blinked in shock. She was being way too submissive all of a sudden. She was working her way up to something here. Just like that. Just like that, she said. Well shit, that was easy. If it helps, Naoki seemed to like you. Look, I just want to let you know that I might be asked you most of the times. But for whatever it worth, I think that you're a great person, she said. Glad you think so, he said. Now, we should probably... If it's alright with you, she said, cutting him off. I would like you to be there when I speak to the old man of forming a medical corps. I've been badgering him for ages about it, and he's avoiding it. But I think, maybe, that your word on the matter would probably push it through. He's a stubborn old monkey, you know. Don't even get me started on Danzo. As Naruto remembered that, her idea was torn to shreds by Danzo and the council. They had far too much power. Even now they had more. Someone needs to cut the head off that snake and replace them with proper leadership. Maybe someone needs to replace him then. Maybe you mean me, don't ya? He said with a smirk. Wait, the monkey or the old warhawk? Danzo, you ass, she said. You're 100 years too young to become Hokage. As Naruto thought about it, removing Danzo would help a lot of things. But how was he gonna do it? He couldn't think about that now though. But for whatever it worked, I think you might be able to do it someday. As Tsunade leaned in and kissed him right on the forehead. As Naruto froze at her touch. Little did he know if he did not intervene, if he was not here, Dan would have been the one getting this kiss. Right on the forehead, and that would have changed several events. I'm rooting for you, she said. Naruto could not contain it as he burst out laughing. It was too much for him to bear. Tsunade liked him. She liked him. As he just laughed. What's so damn funny, she said, her eyes flashing. I'm being completely serious here. It's nothing, he said. Nothing at all, it's just... I never expected this. You do know that I'm not exactly single, right? Granted, she saw Pakura and Karura, but he doubted that she knew about Mikoto and most recently Kushner. And not to mention the others that he had tracked while in the village. Honestly, what did they see in him? I just told you I'm interested. That's all. It doesn't mean I'll let you screw me silly or something like that. I'm not like that type of girl. Oh, I know exactly what type of girl you are, Snedy-chan. The words came to his mind, however, he did not say them. So, are you interested or not, she said. As twisted as it might sound, he was. She wasn't the same Kunoichi that he once convinced to come back to Konoha. This was not an old woman, Akagi. Massive age gap between them. This Nade was the one coming into her own, dealing with scrutiny and a war. As there was a spark there already, and if he could fan that spark, keeping her brother alive, and don't make her leave the village, who was he to refuse? Just promise you won't break my bones when you hug me. I'm not that strong, she said. As Naruto chuckled at that, the rest of the ragtag group started to wake up. Wow. The Rain orphans were shocked. They have probably never seen the sunrise in their eyes before. And to see it now, it was shocking. So what are we waiting for? As he turned towards Orochimaru, just summoned Manda, and we'll be on our way. As Naruto still kinda felt tired, he didn't feel like walking. As the Rinnegan was a bit taxing, he could feel the power trying to tug him in 6 different ways. Probably because of him not wielding any Senju DNA. And he was not even using legendary dojutsu. Once he got back, he had to do some training. I'm afraid not, Orochimaru said. Huh? Manda said if I ever used him as transportation again, he would eat me. Funny thing is, I'm inclined to believe him. So are we gonna walk, Ibiki said. Like hell, said Nawaki. Sensei, can't you just do that again? Well, I suppose I could do, but... What the hell, said Naruto. Everyone step back. Wait, you have a contract, said Jiraiya, as Naruto went through hand sign. Summoning Jutsu! Why have you summoned me, whelp? Bahamut stepped out of the smoke, his wings threatening to block out the sun. The genin of Naruto's team did not seem surprised at all. The Sanin and the orphans, though. Oh my god, they all said in shock, causing Naruto and his students to laugh their ass off. It was rather funny after all. But guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want to see next part and do, like, subscribe, comment down below, turn on that bell notification stay posted, remember to share this with your friends in social media platform, and remember to stay tuned for the rest of what's coming your way. And I hope you guys enjoy each and every one of them. I'm off and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.